Hello everyone. Today I'm going to sing a song composed by Rabindranath Tagore at the age of 48. My commentator is Luke, who, in the manner of a falcon, flies high into the skies of divinity and returns home to the nest of history. জগত জুড়ে উদার সুরে আনন্দ গান বাজে, জগত জুড়ে উদার সুরে আনন্দ গান বাজে, সে গান কবে গভীর রবে বাজিবে হিয়া মাঝে, সে গান কবে গভীর রবে বাজিবে হিয়া মাঝে, জগত জুড়ে উদার সুরে আনন্দ গান বাজে। বাতাস জল আকাশ আলো সবারে কবে বাসিব ভালো, বাতাস জল আকাশ আলো সবারে কবে বাসিব ভালো, হৃদয় সভা জুড়িয়ে তারা বসিবে নানা সাজে, জগত জুড়ে উদার সুরে আনন্দ গান বাজে। নয়ন দুটি মেলিলে কবে পরানো হবে খুশি, যে পথ দিয়া চলিয়া যাব সবারে যাব তুষি, নয়ন দুটি মেলিলে কবে পরানো হবে খুশি, যে পথ দিয়া চলিয়া যাব সবারে যাব তুষি। রয়েছ তুমি এ কথা কবে জীবন মাঝে সহজ হবে, রয়েছ তুমি এ কথা কবে জীবন মাঝে সহজ হবে, আপনি কবে তোমারি নাম ধনিবে সব কাজে, জগত জুড়ে উদার সুরে আনন্দ গান বাজে।
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you so much to Anchor for inviting me to speak on these few lines. Beautiful, beautiful lines by Rabindranath Tagore, the 20th century Indian poet. Your breezes, your waters, your skies, your lights, when will I love them all? Arrayed in their splendid attire, when will they sit in the court of my heart? This, to me, strikes a bit of a contrast with the previous lines when it says, when will its deep sounds reverberate through my heart? There's this kind of, initially what seems to be a dichotomy between when will this song be manifest in my heart, when will the beauty and the divine singing of the universe be manifest in my heart, and when will I love the beauty of the world? It seems like one's within the subject, and when will the universe be manifest within me, and the others is the subject outward towards the universe. When will I love the universe? But then if we think about that a bit more, is that actually a dichotomy? Because what does it mean for you to love the universe, and to love the divine? And this here I think of Ibn Arabi, who compares your breezes, your waters, your skies, your light. Ibn Arabi, he referenced the divine name Al-Latif, which means sort of like the subtle, or it's mostly the subtle. There's many different ways you could translate it. but it's basically one of the 99 names of Allah, and it's the idea of this name that permeates all things, that Allah permeates all things. And he thought the best metaphor for this was water, the water of life, he called it, Ibn Arabi. And I think here Tagore saying your breezes, your waters, your skies, your lights, is also this idea of the divine is felt most manifestly in its subtle permeation of all nature, all things, all matter. When we think of these things as separate, of course, that breezes, waters, skies, lights, all of these things cannot be separated. They are a flow, a beautiful flow. And I think that's this expressing this one of these names of Allah, which is Al-Latif, and is what I'm getting a sense of here. And I think that connects to then what Tagore is talking about here. Of he keeps saying will. When I behold the world, my heart will be delighted. When will I love them all? When will they sit in the court of my heart? I think this comes back to the idea of this flow, that and time and the flow of time, because will suggests that it's this something that's always ahead, that there's this, it's ahead of us, that we haven't reached that love, that the universe hasn't permeated into our heart. It hasn't, the divine name Al-Latif, the subtle, hasn't quite completely permeated into our heart, and that we, as a result, can't quite fully love the universe at all times. But then, at the same time, this use of will does suggest that that's something ahead of us, that we haven't quite achieved that yet, and we're willing for it to happen in the future. But then at the same time, given that this is a flow, that this universe is a flow, then really this future that we're throwing stones towards, that we're pushing out ahead of us, is really connected to us now, is connected to us in this very moment. That it's not this thing that we're going to delay till tomorrow, because tomorrow is already today. The flow of breezes, the flow of waters, the flow of the sky, the flow of light, none of these things recognize the chopping up of time that we humans do. All of these things exist in a flow, that time that cannot be divided. And so this desire to feel a deeper love of the divine, of God, and a deeper love of his manifestation, in the future, well, that's really an opportunity that's already open to us now. That is already something. So when Tagore is saying, when will I love them all? When will I freely echo your name in all my worldly work? It's this expression of wanting more, but at the same time, this wanting more is in this very present moment. It's this ever yearning for more, and this is actually a beautiful thing. This is actually a reflection of the fact that we are constantly falling more and more in love with the divine and the universe. And this reminds me of something I heard very recently from a sheikh, when it was this one Parisian woman, or this woman in France, was listening to a lecture by a Sufi sheikh, and she was completely entranced. She loved listening to it. But at the end, she had one question for the sheikh, and she was like, how can one both fear and love God at the same time? And the sheikh responded, well, actually, these two things coexist, because the fear of God is the fear of losing connection with God. It's the fear of losing this deep love for God, and fear of losing that loving connection. It's not a fear of God, it's a fear of losing that connection. And I think this thing that Tagore is referencing here of when will my heart be when will my heart be delighted, when will this truth become spontaneously expressed through my life. It's this thing that he feels is in the distance but is actually happening right now, this yearning for more love, and this fear of falling out of love, this fear of decreasing in love, of only wanting more love. And I think that, as for me, about someone to for me, marriage is coming in the next few months, inshallah. Um, and I think that also is the case for me. Recently I was talking. Been doing marriage preparation classes with a Catholic priest, and we were talking to him, and he said, "Well, what do you fear most about marriage?" And I said, "The death. The death of my partner, because when she it's that fear of losing love, the fear of losing love." And I think, and the fear of, maybe some other people would say, the fear that our love will dwindle, that it will die out in our marriage. And I think that's the same thing that Tagore is expressing here too. This fear of losing love, the fear of decreasing in love rather than increasing in love, and wanting to increase in love. And I think that's what I'm getting here. And I think trusting at the end here, and to finish on this, at the end we get, when will this truth become spontaneously expressed through my life? When will I freely echo your name in all my worldly work? And I think this is what Tagore is wanting. He's wanting every moment to be suffused with the love of the divine, and that any moment that isn't, he fears this moment of that we should all fear any moment when we are not connected to the divine. We don't have this beautiful connection because we've lost it. We don't feel love. What a sadness. And I think that's also what. But then we can be reassured by this name, Al-Latif, the name of Allah, that this subtle permeation through all things. Because if we are connected to this subtle divine permeation throughout the universe, then we could never be out of love. We could never be out of love because it's always there, and this flow, and it's always there through all time, because it's a flow that cannot be divided at any moment. It's always flowing through, as Tagore says, "Oh my Lord, you are ever with me," and as it says in the Quran, "Wherever you turn, there is the face of God." Wherever you turn, there is the face of God. So I think that's what Tagore is pointing us towards, is this free, and it really resounds with me, the freely echo your name in all my worldly work. It needs to be free. We can't force it. You can't force love. You can have your practices, your religious practices, and as we, this is the way we can start to fall in love. But you cannot force it. Just as in a marriage, going out on dates, doing these nice things, devoting specific time to your partner will obviously help you increase in love. But you can't only love in those times. The ideal is to be loving in all moments. And just as with the divine, we can't just restrict ourselves to 5 times a day or twice a day when we do our prayers. That's the only time we're going to be in love. We have to always be in love. And we not have to always be in love. That's a contradiction in terms, but we fear not being in love, because it would be a joy always to be in love, and that's what I'm getting from Tagore here. And I think that's this in Islam we have this expression, Islam, Iman, Ihsan, and Islam is like the submission. So that's the first step of religion, where you get into the practices to start falling in love. Iman is like when you've started to feel this faith, you feel faith and you feel it, but you still have moments of connection, and then you have moments of not having a connection, and it was sort of your thinking mind sort of helps you traverse those moments of disconnection by having a rationally grounded faith of going, I do believe in God, so that's good, that will help me over the bits where I don't actually feel this direct connection. And then the final step is ihsan, where we always feel this connection, where our heart is always with us. And I think this is what Tagore is wishing for. His heart wants more. But in that very wishing for more, we are already feeling love, because love will always want more. Love, as soon as you are in love, you always will fall more in love. And that's why the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to ask for forgiveness, is because he didn't sin. He never sinned, but he would always, the reason he asked for forgiveness is he would fall every moment in his life. He's felt more and more in love with God. So for every previous moment in his life, he was asking for forgiveness of, I didn't feel as much as in love with you as I do now. Oh, that is awful. I'm asking for forgiveness. I want to be more in love with you. And this constant, ever increasing, boundless love. I'm so grateful for hearing a sheikh say this recently during Ramadan, because it's such a beautiful understanding of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and why he asked for forgiveness. And I think what it points us to in the song by Tagore is that Tagore is saying we always want more love, and we're always yearning for more love in the future, and we feel bad that we're not more in love, and we feel guilty we're not more in love. But love is like an endless spring. It's like an endless spring that will always increase in love. It's an ocean. You can never reach the end of it. It's a boundless ocean. The deeper you go, the more and more you fall in love, and the further love stretches away from you. And that it's an inexhaustible spring. And this is why you can read these lines by Tagore again and again. That's why poetry is suffused with love. It will always generate new meanings. And so I think whenever we feel bad, we're not feeling more love, and whenever we want to feel more love, as Tagore is telling us, that's a sign that we're already in love. Let us trust in the flow of the divine, the flow of the universe, and the flow of love.